Alright, welcome back to Casual Report, bi-weekly roundup of the NFL, NBA and Premier League games, news and anything that I found interesting over the past weekend. So I have some notes and we're just going to go through most of the leagues. We're going to go through the Premier League, NFL and NBA, a little bit of NBA news. And yeah, so I wanted to start off with the Premier League, which I thought was really exciting this weekend. And I think I want to go into we're gonna go through the biggest winners, the biggest losers, and I'll have like an I see you award, which I find really cool. And so the biggest winners, I think we have to start with Arsenal. Arsenal beating Newcastle with a 96-minute goal. Gabriel coming through, clutch header, cold. What a game! I think honestly it was one of the most interesting games to see Arsenal play, because the moment I think you've seen like most people are saying like that was like the first moment that this team has grown up, where they started like they really they decided to snatch a win out of the jaws of the loss. But this team really galvanized around each other. They really picked themselves up. Even after drawing, it could have been so easy to just like stop there, but they went for it all. And I loved that moment where Superman when Marino's trying to celebrate, and like Declan Rice is like, now we have to go back. That was really cool. I thought that's a very powerful moment, and I think that what you're seeing now is a coach who's Mikel Arteta, who's making really impactful changes. I think this is the first time where his subs, I think, have all had an impact. Every sub he makes feels like it is tangibly making a difference in the game. And I think this is obviously a result of the squad being much better and the quality overall going up. But I think also Mikel Arteta is also growing as a manager, and I really appreciate his I really appreciate his growth. And this team, like, this is not a team which is like trying to go out for draws. This is a team which is going for wins. And I think that in these type of games where they have to win, it's very good to see them winning. And who was man? I would say who was a standout for me in this game? I would say it was Declan Rice was class. The whole game was so good. I loved watching Declan Rice play. Ooh, sneakily, Jokeres was really nice. I actually loved his performance. He didn't score, but I loved his performance. I thought that he did so much more than I've seen him do, and I think it was very interesting to see him like on the ball more, to get into different spaces. He's on the right wing and then on the left. So it was very nice to see him move around along. That was really cool. I love that, and David Raya was incredible as well. So Yuri and Timber, my days, cool. So I think this team is really going. This team is really developing and growing up, which is really good to see. And 2 points down to Liverpool, which is incredible. Just keep reducing the points. Just keep staying close, and I think they have a chance. I really think they do. They have a chance. Not that I think they have a chance. And then next team, Crystal Palace, obviously beating Liverpool at home. This game was so interesting because in the first half, Crystal Palace whooped Liverpool's ass. They whooped honestly, it was not even close. I think that Allison came up with I think 4 or 5 saves, and they needed each and every one of them, because they had no foothold in that game. Crystal Palace came out to play. That what is it, 3-4-3? That this team is dangerous. Unbeaten in 118 now. Amazing. I think that Wharton is one of those players who he's like a prime midfielder. Like, yeah, I don't know if he's arrived, but he's definitely getting there for sure, man, for sure. And one of the most interesting things I saw was he started Wharton and Kamada in the midfield. I was very worried about that initially, but for him to do that, I'm very impressed. I think it shows that Oliver Glasner's team understands the system, and I think that's very impressive. That each person can, not even for Kamada to go from a 10 role to the pivot in the middle, where we've seen teams like Man United fail because of that. and them not be overrun by a team with Gravenberch, McAllister, and what's his name, Szoboszlai. That is class. That is class. Shout out to the wing backs. I think wing backs, Munoz and Mitchell. One of the most interesting stats that this team has is that their wing backs contribute to most of their goals and assists. And I think that is so cool to see, because when you watch this team, you really get the sense that even in this game, Mitchell was, he locked up Salah. Literally, he locked up Salah, and he was still so impactful, especially in the first half. You couldn't get a glove on him. So for me, this team is just incredible to watch. Every game is a must watch for them, just for how well run they are. Oliver Glasner is doing an incredible job. Honestly, world class manager for me, man. And then, do I have another winner? I do not have another winner. Yes, I do. I have Sunderland. Sunderland is another winner I have. And I put Sunderland here because the job that this team has done to come from the Championship to the Premier League. The biggest compliment I can pay this team is that they don't look out of place. They're literally 5th in the table. They don't look out of place. The squad is so filled with Premier League level talent. What's his name? Obviously Xhaka. Xhaka has 3 assists already, and he's been incredible. But what's his name? You have people like Adingra Diarra, Talibi Lafay, Sadiki, Mukiele, Roofs. Literally, all of these guys, these are most of their new signings. All of them have had an impact. All of them have hit the ground running. All of them have literally impacted winning in a tangible way, and that is so cool to see. That is incredible to see, and they're hard to beat. I think that's you can't say that they've been dominating games, but what you see that they know what to do in the what is his name? The striker is very good. He's cold. This team knows what it's doing. This team is very well coached. His name is Regis Lebris. Probably that's French. I don't know how to say his name, but that he's been doing an incredible job. He's made them hard to beat, and they're scoring goals, and they're winning games, and they're winning the games that they should win. I think as a promoted side, it feels disrespectful to call them a promoted side, but for them to be at this level is so good to see. They fully deserve to be in 5th position. The games that they're winning, the way that they are playing, is exactly the blueprint for every team that is not even battling survival, but to be a top 10 team. This is the blueprint. Be hard to beat, score goals, and win the games you should win. That's all you need to do. Alright, those are 3 teams I have for the biggest winners. Then the biggest losers. You can't start anywhere but Man United. I think to lose 3-1 to Brighton and to put in the performance that they did, it's getting to the point where everyone is just getting like, what's going on here? It's like we're all waiting for them to just fire the manager. It feels like everyone's lost hope. It's honestly one of those moments where you are literally just watching the ship sink, and every win is like just to survive to the next week, and then next week you're gonna go through the same cycle where it's calling for the manager to be fired, and then you win a game. We've been through this so many times. We went through this with Oli, with Ten Hag, with Ralph. The same situation. You win a game. Jose went through this. You win a game, you survive to next week. Next week you lose. There's no sense of consistency that any of this team knows. And the fact that there's no sense that anything will change. The manager's been very clear that he's not going to change the system. And I've heard that word so much. I'm so tired of that word. I don't want to hear the word system again, even though we have to keep speaking about it. But this team just seems like it's just going week to week. It can't, you know those moments where it's like, man, it's those moments when you're at work and you're like, well, I need to get to the end of the day. That's all. You can't think about next week, you can't think about tomorrow. It's just get to the end of today. That's what Man United is. I just need to get to the end of today. Anything else, I cannot even think about. And for a football club of this stature to be at that point is That's terrible. That's genuinely terrible, man. Um, for me, I think one of the things I said was like, this team just seems passive. No goals in an open play, no goals in assists from open play. You have chances, but everything just seems so passive. Everything just seems so off the cuff. Every goal is just like a couple of bounces in the right way. There's nothing that is like sustainable in any way, which is terrible to see as a fan. So man, and just looking for, honestly, you're just looking for this team to kind of like, I think what we're all hoping for is that something's gonna click, and it just doesn't look like it's gonna click anytime soon, which sucks. But man, it just is the cycle of Man United at this point, I guess. Anyways, that's enough about them. Last award, I see you award, and for this team, this award, I went with Leeds. Leeds secured a 2-2 draw at Bournemouth. Leeds have been phenomenal. They've been a team which has been under the radar for me in terms of like when I watch them, I'm like, yo, this team is actually kind of nice. That midfield of Ampadu Stack and what's his name? Ampadu Stack and what's his name? And can't even see his name. Yeah, but the midfield is really really good. And then the new front three of TCL and what's his name? TCL, Okafor and Aronson. I like it. It's actually really good. I like it. It seems like an upgrade from the Nonto and Daniel James thing, front three. So I'm really enjoying this team play. It seems like it has its identity. The midfield is definitely punching above its weight, and I love that it's able to hold its own against a lot of teams. I think this team will never be run over because the midfield is that good. Ampadu is quality. Longstaff is quality. Stack is quality. Like these are players who, on their best day, they can play for a top 7 team at their best. So that's the quality that they have. So I'm very glad to see that this team is doing really well, and I'm always very like, you're really like, okay, I see you, yeah, which is why they're here. Like, I see you, man, I see you. I love it, man. I love this team. I love Leeds, man. Daniel Farke is doing an incredible job. Shout out to him, man. Love it. Alright, that is the Premier League. Next, I want us to get into the NFL. For the NFL, I have a couple of teams. I really wanted to get into teams that I find most exciting to watch. This is after week 4. Are we in week 4, week 5? I have no idea what week we are. But the most recent week that this video came out. I think that I have how many teams do I have? I have 6 teams. I have 6 teams. I have 6 teams that are the most exciting to watch, and I find really interesting that I would like suggest. Like, it's like that team where, like, if you're with someone, you're like, what game should you watch, or what team should you put on? These are the teams that I think, like, if you put it on, you'll have a good time. So that being said, the first team I have is the Detroit Lions. This is a team, I chose this team obviously because they're one of the best offenses in the league. They're one of the best defenses in the league. But I love this team because of their effort. Who did they beat this weekend? They beat the Cleveland Browns, right? Yeah, they beat the Browns. But one of the things I really love about this team is the effort. I'm blanking on his name. Why am I blanking on his name? His name is Dan Campbell. The squad that Dan Campbell has built, in terms of how he's running his team, in terms of the energy that he gives to his team to really, like, stand up to anything. Like, there's no off days with this team. And when you watch them, you see the quality from Amon-Ra St. Brown to the running back duo to the tight ends, everyone. Oh my god, and the offensive line. This is a team that honestly, I think this is one of the teams that made me fall in love with, like, offensive lines. Because watching Penny Sewell and, like, I can't remember everyone's name, but watching them really, like, block and create space for Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, bro, this team makes you fall in love with football. It genuinely makes you fall in love with football, because you're just like, oh my god, I want to be out there. I want to be playing with them. they look like they have so much fun, and genuinely they score. I'm like, this team can score 50 points on their best day. They just got 50 points. They just got 50 points 2 weeks ago. So genuinely, this is a team which is so fun to watch. The offense is just incredible. I think it's Matt. Is it Matt or John? John Matten. I think it's John Matten. I hope that I got his name right. Incredible. I think you're still seeing the same principles that Ben Johnson left. You see the same intense. You see the same what's it, ingenuity? That's the right word. You see the same ingenuity in this team. It's so cool to see. It's really so cool to see. And then on the defensive side, you still have ballers on the other side. Aiden Hutchinson still coming through with flames. Like, this team is so, they don't slack on any part. I'm not a guy who knows like names and stuff, but just watching them play is so amazing to see. What's his name? Muhammad. I can't remember his name, but Muhammad. Him being able to, me getting into like his story and like how he was chosen off, like he didn't have a job for 40 days and he just came in and he's like one of the best defensive players, or he's like top 5 in like tackles or something like that, or pressures or sacks. And those type of stories for someone who's the new DC, Calvin Shepherd, I think. This team is so nice, man. This team is like, it is one of those teams which you just like, which they meet talent with execution and also effort. And it's very rare that you get all of those 3 things in one package. And there's also discipline, the discipline that they play in. I would love to see, like, I think this is one of like the least penalized teams, I'm gonna assume, so I don't know, but it feels like that. Like, they're very militant, they're very robotic in the way that they move, but they're also very, very like sharp. Like, everything goes according to plan, which is incredible to see. Love this team. Next team, they lost, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Bucks, they lost against the Eagles. The Eagles are 4-0, so okay, cool. But for me, this is a team which I think, similar to the Lions, are a team which are built on effort. When I was reading about this team, I love the way that they have kind of this what is that word? They have this, like, okay, it's the NBA term, but like, you know, the 2 era system. I've got the one that Golden State run, but how you have young players and old players at the same time, like the vets and the young guys. It's so cool to see it on this team. Baker Mayfield has, honestly, he has made this team so fun to watch and so gritty. Like, he has literally dragged them, honestly, from losses to wins, of just his his lack of willingness to give up. He's not gonna give up. And the runs that he's made, the throws that he's made, literally, he's been clutch. He's been clutch this whole way. So it's been so cool to see. So, and imagine now I'm thinking about the offense as well. Like, this is a team which on its best day, I think it generally can go against anyone. I think they're in the NFC, right? I think they're in the NFC. They can go against anyone in the NFC on their best day. They can generally, because the offense is good enough. They have Mike Evans, Ekpuka, who's I think top 5 in receiving yards or something like that. And then you have one of the top 3, I'm going to say top 3 running back duos in the league, in Irving and Rashad White. Literally, I love this. This team is so good. And you still have a defensive system at defensive line, which is like getting pressures. And you have the 2 incredible safeties and corners. This is a really, really nice team. I love this team a lot. I love watching them. I think one thing about this team is, like, they're going to give you like heartaches. They're going to give you heartaches because they're going to be in a lot of close games and they're going to have a lot of mistakes. Maybe they're not going to complete a lot of times. But when they click, when they turn that thing on, they are incredible to watch. They're incredible to watch. I have the Los Angeles Chargers next. But this is interesting. I think this team is a fun watch on a good day. On a bad day, when injuries are happening and stuff like players are not performing up to their levels. Last year it was Quentin Johnson, who's doing really well this year. This year, Landon McConkey, that was that I saying, is not really performing to the best of his like abilities. I think on their best day, it always feels like either they're getting the short hand on of the stick in terms of injuries, or just something about their performance isn't complete enough to really compete with the best of teams. And I think that, man, is, but on their best day, and the reason why I put them here is because on their best day, they're such a nice team to watch. It just gives you like very simple, basic, but like incredibly executed work by them. So I think that's why they're here. Yeah, as I even said it, when they're firing on all cylinders, they're as good as anyone. Justin Herbert is a top 4 QB, if he on his good day. He's a top 4 QB. So I love this team, is incredible to watch, man. And then I have who do I have? I'll look with the Rams. I want to talk about the Rams. This team has a, how old is Justin, is what's his name? How old is Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford, I think, is like 30, late 30s, early 40s, somewhere there. And he's a winner. He's a Super Bowl winner. But like when you watch him play, you can see like he wins. Like there's those QBs where you're like, man, he's a winner. Like simple and plain. It's just something about him is just very. They're just guys who are like that. They're just winners. And I appreciate, and I think one thing I love about this team is that they've built a very good team around him. And a lot of times, the Browns, they put very bad teams around bad old quarterbacks. But with old QBs, you need to really build a team around them. And I think putting Puka and, what's his name? Davante Adams, I think that's his name. Putting him around them, putting Higbee, Kyron Williams, you've really, you and the offensive line, I don't think it's that good. I read like some stats like the offensive line is not that good. But I mean, it's just getting the job done, so I guess you accept that. But in terms of like the skill positions, offensive line is skill position, the wider skill positions, I should say. I think that you appreciate the team that they've put around him, and you appreciate how he's really also accentuating the qualities of everyone around him, and you see why they wanted to keep him as well. So man, it's really cool to see that. Last two teams I have is the Indianapolis Colts. This is the hottest team in the league, obviously before they lost against the Rams, but this is one of the hottest team in the leagues in terms of like receiving. Is it receiving or yards? What is it called? Top 10? Yeah, top 10. They have a top 10 defense and a second offensive ranking, and their average is points. I think they're top 2 or top 3 in points, and they put up 420 yards per game. This is this game, so before the Rams game. This is one of the hottest team in the league, and for a team which is like so cool to see. I think I love this team feels like they run like a all big lineup in terms of just having like 6'4" at every position, from Tyler Warren to is it Michael Pittman is 6'1" or something. Alec Pierce is tall as flip. It just seems like they just have like they have really tall people just playing at their skill positions, and it's so. And then you have Jonathan Taylor putting in like an offensive player of the year type of season. So it's been so fun to watch. Yes, and honestly, even the loss at this weekend, it was like Adonai Mitchell, I believe is his name. He loses the ball and the penalty. This team is good. I think this loss doesn't reflect on this team, but this team is really really good. Yeah, and shout out to Shane. I think Shane Steichen. Shout out to Shane Steichen for him to come from the Philadelphia Eagles team. It feels like he's finally putting his identity to this team, and that's really cool to see as a coach. That's really cool. And the defense. Shout out to the defense as well. From what I read, they have like a lot of like playmakers at different positions. So like I'm thinking about from the defensive line, they have a couple of guys there. Linebacker is what's his name, Zaire Franklin. Everyone. Then you have the corners and the safeties. Yeah, they seem like they have a lot of good players around. So I love that. Then finally the Green Bay Packers. This team is going through a bit of a tough time. I think this was This was the team I had the most hesitation to talk about because I don't know, it's cracks are starting to show a bit in terms of like drawing the Cowboys game, losing the Browns game. It feels like I think allowing another team to score 40 points in any situation is kind of tough. I think that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot. Regardless of the situation, that's a lot. And from what I saw this game, it just felt like it felt like more on the secondary or like the pressures or the tackles. This is like I've been watching the NFL for what, a year basically, yeah, and 2 years now. But yeah, that's what it felt like. Felt like the quality at the secondary wasn't as good. So this is supposed to be a team I enjoy watching. I'm supposed to be critiquing them, but I think that this team it has enough quality. The offense is great. Putting up 40 points is incredible. That it just shows the quality of this team. I think if they just need to make more tweaks on the defense, I'm sure this team's gonna come around soon enough. But I won't keep going to them too deep because I think I want to see them a bit more. But I think they're an interesting team to watch. So I'll keep them on the list. But they're an interesting team to watch. Not exciting, but interesting. And then last but not least, we have where am I going? Last but not least, we have the NBA. Okay. So with the NBA, today is media day. I haven't checked out anything. I'll probably check out stuff after this. I wasn't able to get into any of that of what happened or saw. I haven't seen anything. But in terms of NBA news, one of the most interesting things I watched today was Pablo Torre's not interview, but his investigative series on the Clippers and the whole salary circumvention thing with Kawhi Leonard. And it just seems to be going from bad to worse. I think for me, today's video was like, it was just more, I think this was the closest connection that you could have had to Steve Ballmer, because his whole thing is like, man, I didn't know anything. I was the one who was also, what's the word? Duped or something like that. Duped or frauded. Defrauded. I think the word is defrauded. That's been his whole thing. But this week is Pablo Torres in reporting just kind of like, literally, it's just for them to have this many like to have okay, the amounts are too specific, the payments are just too, there's just too much noise around it, there's too many people who know, everyone knows about it, so how did you not know, or how did you at least not even receive like a tip like a, or like maybe you like the people around you at least knew about it. Like for Steve Ball, I think that in this case it's a question of your leadership, of like how can this happen, how can you create an environment that allows something of this scale to happen. As much as you're a billionaire, for you to even in your aloofness, I would say, for you to allow this to happen in your workplace, it is very unethical. And I think that for Steve Ballmer, he has to take at least some responsibility on that regard. And I'm thinking about consequences, and for me, it's probably going to, if I were to look at it, it's probably either going to be someone, the president of basketball operations might have to leave, or it has to be a senior person in management that has to leave. Or I don't think Steve Ballmer will sell the team. I don't think that would be the case. I don't think even Adam Silver will do that. But I think that there has to be some sort of like accountability among the executive branch of the Clippers to really like recognize that something has gone wrong. And that is, so I think that's what I see. And on Kawhi's side, on a deeper level, I think there's a lot of information now with everything that's out already that could, I wouldn't be surprised if his contract was voided. That is not like that isn't out of the possibility. I don't know if it's more on the extreme side, but for something of this nature and like how specific that it's just really bad all around. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there, but I wouldn't be surprised. Something like this is going to be like a big turning point for the league. I think their decision will definitely determine like how serious teams take salary cap circumvention moving forward, and so I hope that the league does put enough like emphasis on this and like real tangible um, consequences. And then the next news is Fred VanVleet's ACL injury. Man, obviously I'm sure you've seen this by now, but I think the Rockets have literally aren't able to trade anyone. The only tradable assets are people who are kind of valuable. Apart, okay, like literally everyone on the list. I think who was it? It was Reed Shepard, Tari, and a couple of other guys who are really important. So the new guys can't be traded to the other guys until December 15th. And I think that's not even. I don't think they would overreact, because I think you are going to give a chance to Emmett Thompson and Reed Shepard to show what they have, and that's fair. Let's see what you guys got. You guys can take us through, and even if you guys don't, we still have Kevin Durant. We have Kevin Durant. Y'all know who I am. Okay, y'all know. Yeah, literally, as long as you have, it's like a safety blanket, so you good literally either way. And I think that once you start getting into like the playoffs, which I think is what this team is worried about, I think that I'm gonna say you still have enough playable players to really coast through the regular season, but in the playoffs, I think you are going to try and want to find someone who can soak up minutes, because that Fred VanVleet's 18 points, I believe, is what he was averaging in the playoffs, or maybe just score them one game. I think he was averaging 18 points. I hope I'm not wrong there. That's huge. That is huge. And so I think you're going to need someone to get that. But for now, I think that you just rely on Shingun, Aman, and Reed Shepard, and what's his name, Jayshawn Tate, and Aaron Holiday, who I really love. I actually really love Aaron Holiday. It's actually weird how much I love Aaron Holiday. But yeah, I think that's enough playmaking by committee to last you through the first couple of months. And for me, I would say in terms of like people, I know you've seen like the trade targets, but for me, I think that bringing someone like Seth Curry, he's a free agent still. I don't know if he's signed anyway. I hope he hasn't. But I think he is someone who can, if they can create any form of like space, I think he's someone who I feel like could really do well in a playoff environment. Is it because he's a Curry? Maybe. But I think he could do really well as someone who can come off the bench or make a little bit, or just hold the ball or shoot and do all that. I really like Seth Curry a lot. Who else? Oh, Jerry McCain is injured. He had a UCL, which is kind of like the thumb thing. Like he's out for he won't start the season, which sucks. It just the Sixers Sixers and injuries just becoming synonymous, which sucks. But shout out to Jerry McCain, man. Hopefully he comes back healthy soon. But it was nice seeing Embiid. Embiid is on the court. I sent him that picture with VJ. Really cool to see. And he slimmed down a bit, which is really cool. And Zion slimmed down as well, which is nice. Okay, now we're just going, who else slimmed down? Yeah. we're going to check weight watching, imagine. Tyler Hero is injured. He had ankle surgery, which sucks. Man. I think that this team is... Who are we relying on now? I think we're going to have to rely on Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell. Norman Powell obviously more so than Davion, but them to kind of like be the point guard for this team until Tyler comes back. So, and I guess let's go Heat. Let's see what we do. There. And I think that is everything. Who else have I not? I think I've spoken about everything. Good shit. Hey, good shit. That was good. Like that. Very nice stuff. That is the tea. That is the Cali report. It was very fun. I love this. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Hey, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been interesting. This has been fun. Sports, like talking about sports is very weird, because in your mind you're always thinking about like what everyone has already said, in terms of like, because I watch so many podcasts. Like I'm watching the Athletic, numbers on the board, TD3, a house call like what's it, Picaside, who else is out there? Rich Eisen show. First things first, like it is very it's very interesting. I think one of the toughest things is like being original. I think, and I think that's overrated a bit. I think like what I'm gonna repeat a lot of things you've already heard. Is what I'm trying to say. So I think I need to be more comfortable with that. Like you probably heard everything I've said. You have. I mean, and that's okay. So yeah, and this is like after show thoughts. This is gonna be something. This is after show thoughts. After show thoughts. Okay, it's good. Outside of the and outside of like what I've spoken about, I want to tap into Formula One a bit. I want to speak about Formula One. We'll see if we tap into that. See if yeah, that would be really cool to tap in. Maybe speak about a bit. What else did I watch? We see rugby. I don't know what. I guess we'll try and see what rugby's saying. And I guess that's it. Champions League is coming through, so we'll hope we speak about that next week. And yeah, that's it from me, man. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys somewhere, somehow on one of these channels. Most probably I'll see you guys on the path tomorrow. Hopefully I'll see you there. And yeah, thank you so much.